Then Indianapolis at plus 550, and then Houston at plus 900. So strike while the iron is hot, Jeff.
Yeah. Make you a decent little payout there.
Little 9-1 action ain't too bad.
And welcome back to the Schlabcast. Andy, Jeff, and Caleb coming back at you after a bit of a summer break away from football, but we are only 53 days away, recording this on a Sunday, July 16th. Fellas, how are you guys both doing?
Doing great. Got to ask, 53 days away, who's your favorite player that was number 53? Jeff, you first.
Ooh.
I'm just playing. I can't think of a single 53 off the top of my head. It's just such a random number. It's got to be a linebacker.
Yeah. I was thinking like that Spike guy, Takeo Spike.
Oh, Takeo Spikes?
Maybe. He was an absolute monster, like giant neck, right?
Famous number 53s in football. The one that I'm just going to pick is Navarro Bowman. And I'm going to just check and make sure that he was that number. Yeah, Navarro Bowman. Happy Navarro Bowman Day.
How are you guys both doing?
I'm doing great. Summer's been good. It's been hot. Loving it.
For real.
Beaching it up. Went to the fair. All those fun summer things.
I love hot weather, so I've been really digging it. And it's about 102 where I am today. But tomorrow I'm going to Vegas just because I want a little bit more. You know, give me an extra 10, 12 degrees. Why not?
Awesome. So just getting right into the news. Like I said, recording this on a Sunday, July 16th. Just today, we had some breaking news, actually. DeAndre Hopkins finally decided to sign with the Tennessee Titans over the New England Patriots. The money obviously played a big issue. It was the bigger contract, 2 years, 26 million, up to 32 million. Bill O'Brien was also the Patriots offensive coordinator, or is the Patriots offensive coordinator now. So that could play a part into maybe why he wanted to leave. Bill O'Brien was the head coach of the Texans at the time when he traded DeAndre Hopkins, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Jeff, just quick thoughts on DeAndre Hopkins to the Titans. What do you guys think?
A little surprising going to a rookie quarterback situation, or I guess Tannehill going to start maybe, and then Richardson's going to take over eventually. I don't know. Tannehill can't ever seem to play more than 8 or 10 games. I don't know. I would have thought he would have wanted to go to, after the whole Kyler Murray situation, thought he would want to go to a more veteran QB after dealing with the carousel of QBs in Houston and then Kyler Murray.
I think it's kind of obvious he wants some money immediately and was fine with taking not a ton of extra bonus money. He just wanted his guaranteed, give me this for what's upcoming and whatnot. In terms of the Titans, if I were to go to the Titans, really, I'd want to go there because I just really like Mike Vrabel. And even though he's a defensive coach, he's like a really good just culture setter. I feel like those teams are, even though they might not pull it out when they absolutely need to, still pretty mature teams. They're not really losing games because they just like fumble it at the end of the fourth or something. It's usually just a compound type of thing throughout the game. They just got outplayed or whatever. But he's taken that team quite a ways with, you know, a bunch of rebuild years. So I would think that Hopkins kind of trusts that front office look more, or that coaching staff more. Outside of that, I don't really know why. Like Jeff was saying, I don't really understand who's going to, you know, be thrown to him. Don't have a lot of trust there. There are some other mouths to feed in that offense too.
I think you brought up a great point, Caleb, when you talked about just the coach and Vrabel and like just the overall philosophy. I agree with that, how he would feel like he connects with that and vibes with that. On the team, obviously he's the clear outright wide receiver number one. They don't really have that much depth. They have Treylon Burks, but not much outside of that. It was a little bit surprising to see him go there. I know there was links to him possibly going to the Chiefs, but we don't exactly know if they gave out an offer even. But it would have been interesting if I thought he would have wanted to go to a team like that. While he does upgrade the Titans, I don't personally see him upgrading them in terms of like their playoff position. I still see a handful, 4 or 5 teams still ahead of them. Happy that he gets his money. And in terms of the quarterback, like you said, it'll probably be Tannehill to start. Eventually, maybe if injury or if he just struggles, then it'll go to Will Levis.
Oh, yeah. Richardson went to the Colts.
It's a run first offense, so he's going to have to get used to that a little bit. But ultimately, I don't see it moving the needle too much in terms of the Titans as a whole. What do you guys think?
I still think it's Jacksonville's division this year.
It's definitely up in the air. All the other teams drafted quarterbacks very high in that division, so it's kind of a crapshoot. It was kind of the Titans division for a few years, like you said, Rabel changing the culture and things like that. But we all agreed that Doug Peterson and was going to be able to, figure out if Trevor Lawrence was any good or not. And I think we figured it out last year. He can change that culture very quickly too.
Do you guys want to know what MGM has for the AFC South winner?
Jacksonville.
Yeah, well, they got Jacksonville. You want to know what the numbers are?
Sure.
Jacksonville minus 165. So modest. You're not doubling your money, but still fine. The next is Tennessee at plus 350. So if that doesn't include Hopkins, I think that's actually pretty good. He's a guy that can win you a game.
Yeah.
Or two. So I don't know what their over under might have. In fact, he might have a half game effect on that too. You might take him into the half point range if they were a whole number beforehand, just to get people to bite on that larger number. Now they think that he's just going to do so much, especially either fans of him or Tennessee fans. Yeah. Then Indianapolis at plus 550 and then Houston at plus 900. So strike while the iron is hot, Jeff.
Yeah. Make you a decent little payout there.
Little 9-1 action ain't too bad. He is going to be playing right away. He's the best player on the team. Might be interesting in fantasy. We'll see.
Moving over, just touching up on the franchise tag. So franchise tag deadline does end tomorrow in terms of extending the ones that were signed. Right now, there are currently 3 players, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, and Tony Pollard, that are currently signed to franchise tags that have until tomorrow to sign a long-term deal, essentially. Everyone else has already signed, so the most notable ones early on was Daron Payne in free agency, and then eventually Lamar Jackson signed his, and then Evan Ingram, who was the Jacksonville Jaguars tight end, signed his today, 3 years, $41.25 million. Tony Pollard, I guess, expressed that he was open to just playing on the franchise tag this year. So now it looks like it's just between Barkley and Jacobs.
Is that Evan Ingram 41 number guaranteed or total?
That's just total.
Okay. I was going to say, if that's guaranteed, he got a better deal than Hopkins.
Oh, no. Guaranteed, I think it was a little less than half.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Yeah, so it's looking like Jacobs and Barkley are both going to be holding out. Just your guys' thoughts on that. I don't know if Caleb, you had any more information on Pollard.
I don't think Pollard's it's funny that the 3 that are left are all running backs because they want the other domino to fall, because then Jacobs is going to be like, well, I'm better than Pollard, but Pollard's going to be like, well, I'm going to be like this guy for you for a few years. You want me to be around. And then Barkley's saying, I'm better than both those guys put together.
And then right on the free agent market, you have Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, you have all these veterans, and that market has gone hold. There's no news. The only news I've heard on Zeke, just side thing, was Dak saw him and said he looks good. That's really the only thing I've heard. He talked more about Deuce Vaughn than Zeke. I think they're all waiting to see what the other one does. The running back number is a pretty fair number for a franchise tag, so I think playing a year under that isn't too bad. Even playing 2 years under that isn't too bad. I don't think any of the 3 sign tomorrow. It'd have to be deal done right at the last minute so that the other ones aren't influenced, immediately.
I think that's a possibility that one of those could do that. They're waiting to the last minute so that, or maybe if you would do that, why wouldn't you just do it now so that you can't sign the other people to a thing? So you're saying they can't sign a long-term deal past tomorrow?
Essentially, wait another year.
Otherwise, they can only get the franchise tag and that's it?
Yeah.
That's kind of like Melvin Gordon did that, I think, for the Chargers that one year, and it didn't work out for him. He's skipped 8 games, and then guy is out of a job now, a few years later. I don't know. I would sign it.
I think it's dependent on position. If I'm a offensive lineman, I'm definitely weighing, I'm awesome right now, I'm getting top 5 money, just straight up, or I want stability in all this because I am kind of in a volatile position. But if I'm playing safety, I'm just going to take the money now. I'm doing it now. Getting traded around is great because they're always looking for it. There's always gaps to fill and stuff like that. It's a lot different markets. So
it seems like these running backs are getting long-term deals anymore. So why not just sign the top 5 guaranteed money for another year? But in their eyes, they know that their body is limited time, so you're trying to get as much money as possible. Barkley and Jacobs' standpoint, but Pollard seems a little more team friendly.
If you had to guess for Barkley and Jacobs, would you say that they're both on their respective teams to start the season, regardless of holdouts, or do you see any of them on just a different team?
Oh, I think they're definitely on their teams. I don't think they're traded away. I think Barkley plays because the Giants are just more in a win now and they have a lot of momentum going. Plus, he gets real, up and down. And I think he just wants to get off to a good start. Jacobs, I could see holding out though a little bit because he's just got this new quarterback that's coming, all this stuff. He doesn't want to look bad right away and all these things because he doesn't have all the reps and everything that is needed. So, but I definitely think they're on their teams. I'd be very surprised if either was not.
It just seems like they would stay. They shouldn't have given Daniel Jones all that money. They could have given some more to Saquon. Saquon's got to be a little annoyed at that, I'm sure. Like, he did half as much of the offense as Daniel Jones did last year, and he's supposed to be paid half as much. That doesn't make any sense to me. Giants are stupid. That's why you guys love them so much.
The Giants are stupid.
You rather pay Daniel Jones like upwards of 150 million and not sign Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
And I know there are different positions. I know he's running back. I know he's quarterback, but Daniel Jones is just performance overall doesn't make up for the difference.
No way. The resumes aren't even close to each other.
But I guess the only reason I brought that up, I think there's probably like a 25% chance that Josh Jacobs could be traded. That general manager, that organization, they're like, even though it's the Raiders, they're from the New England Patriots. I feel like they're kind of in that same mold. If they're not really 100% sold on you, they'll just get rid of you kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I could see them possibly shipping him. The Giants, they're more like family structure and everything. I can see them building up a relationship with Saquon and reuniting that. Other just NFL news, just tidbits that are happening right now. The New York Jets, they were selected for Hard Knocks. I don't know if you guys have watched the last couple seasons of Hard Knocks at all, but just your thoughts on that. I mean, obviously the highlight, Aaron Rodgers now. What do you guys think?
Not surprised that they got picked. Did catch a few episodes last year, maybe when they did Detroit, and kind of like made me like Dan Campbell and see his mentality. But I don't give a shit about the Jets, to be honest, or Aaron Rodgers really. So I probably won't watch too much. I'm sure I'll watch clips when it comes out of little moments here or there, but I'm not super interested.
Yeah, I think there's bound to be some pretty funny stuff that just comes out of that because you do have a lot of personalities. Probably will not watch, but I will look for YouTube videos that have spliced all of the Sauce Gardner moments together. And I feel like that will be the only moments I'm really looking forward to anyway, because I know that Rodgers is good and can throw it hard and is kind of wacky. But yeah, I don't really care about the Jets.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I tried to look up and see spread of like teams that were on the Hard Knocks, but it was like kind of fairly even. Like having a bad record if you're on Hard Knocks or like that, there wasn't really a correlation there.
It used to be, but not anymore.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys had one of the better records, if I'm not mistaken.
I want to say there was like a 13-3 year.
I think that was the one.
I think it was the year where the Dez catch happened.
Something about Jerry Jones and Hard Knocks, the attention, it doesn't affect the Cowboys.
Yeah. It's just a part of being on the team. It's just part of the ride.
So it looks like Tyreek Hill declared that he is going to break the NFL receiving record in a season and go over 2,000 yards. He also declared that they're going to get a Super Bowl ring. But what do you guys think about that? Him getting 2,000 yards? Do you see it in the future? Anybody breaking it?
It'd be pretty tough to break it, I think. I mean, if he could count like rushing yards and his end arounds, maybe he could get close. But who knows who's even going to be throwing to him halfway through the season? You know, like once he gets the ball in his hands, yeah, he's like probably the most elusive wide receiver in the league right now. But he's got to get the ball in his hands first. Somebody's got to throw it to him. So for that reason alone, I would say no, he doesn't break it.
He gets the ball in his hands, and then every time he gets the ball in his hands, he probably gets hit. And he's a little guy. He only has a finite amount of hits. If he was going to break that record, he would have done so forever ago. You know, like that ship has sailed. But
with Mahomes, he would have broken the record. Yeah. Just to double check. So he had 1710 last year. Justin Jefferson had 1809. So getting close. Having the extra game change anything for you guys?
That's probably the only reason that these guys even got close to those numbers, honestly.
He missed some games with Tua.
Tua missed like how many games? Like
maybe like 6.
I was going to say at least 5.
If he had 17-10, if you give him 5 more games with Tua, could he get there?
Yeah,
they might get there in 2 games.
Yeah.
Especially if he's trying to just go for it.
200-yard games. Yeah, it's possible. I like where you're coming at it from there.
Coming into it, actually, I thought it was kind of a joke too, but just looking at the numbers, if Tua was in a perfect world, if he was healthy, it's
Yeah,
possible.
a lot of things would have to go right.
We were just talking about the cheetah, but speaking of other faster wide receivers, looks like Djax unofficially is going to be retiring from the NFL after 15 seasons. Sad day for all my Eagles fans. Hope he comes back and retires for one day as an Eagle. That'd be nice. Lots of good memories. Thank you, Djax. I even have his, it's actually on this side, have his signature.
Nice.
A lot of love for Djax. 101. You guys have anything to mention? I know Caleb has a whole list of things he
mean,
has to say.
as a rival, he just annoyed the absolute shit out of me. A couple things stick out. One is him just like always dropping the ball before the end zone, just a side thing. But the other thing is probably one of the most memorable NFL moments I've had just watching, live NFL games around Christmas time when he had the return against the Giants to win it. That was a big one. So that really sticks out. It's kind of the first thing I think about when I think of him is that play.
The Miracle in the Meadowlands. Yeah,
Yeah.
part 2.
Yeah, I know we were in college for that game. I remember so many people were coming up to you because they knew you were an Eagles fan. They're like, "That game was crazy." Because it was like, what? You scored like 4 touchdowns in like span of like 4 minutes or something like that. 2 minutes? I don't even remember. Michael Vick,
Yeah.
DJ, ridiculousness.
I remember when we were in our dorm, Jeff. I don't know why, but I remember this so vividly. It was a Monday night game, and the Eagles are playing. At the time, it was the Redskins, but we had Vic, and then the first play, you would like just throw a bomb to Djax, and then the first play was like an 80-yard bomb. Yeah.
Dude, it's worth it. Give it a chance, like a couple times a game for sure. One of them's bound to hit, especially right away. Not ready for it.
Happy trails, Djax. Speaking of a player that's already retired, Philip Rivers just recently had his 10th kid. So including himself, he can now field the whole team.
Absolutely wild. Yeah. I think they moved to Florida a couple years ago when he retired, and he's still like his son's football coach, like high school football coach. So definitely a big family guy, but man, I don't even know if they make Mercedes Sprinter vans that fit 12. You might have to upgrade to like a mini school bus.
Yeah. About a year and a half ago, I saw him in North County, San Diego, driving that Mercedes. I just happened to pass him and I was like, oh, damn, this guy looks like the thing Rivers drives. And there he is, him and his wife, and a bunch of kids in the back end. That thing was full. So, yeah, he's just going to have to get a bus. Everyone can paint it or something. I don't know, but he's going to need a new kind of license. It's going to be a whole thing.
Pretty wild. With him at quarterback, he can field the whole offense. That's crazy. That poor wife, Tiffany, man. Got to spread that Catholic love.
I was gonna say, it makes you wonder if he like lost a bet a long time ago. He just has like a quota he's got to meet. Just like, oh, only 2 more, okay? Only 2 more. 12 is the number.
Congrats, buddy. Keep enjoying that retirement. Hopefully, you get a Hall of Fame induction in a few years. I think it's deserved.
I think so. He just was there for so long.
Rival plenty of Hall of Famers, whether or not if he got a ring or not because of Norv Turner.
It's, can you tell the story of football with or without this person? And it's hard to tell the story of that particular time in football without Philip Rivers.
With Gates being like his number one guy for so long, and that's obviously a Hall of Fame career. I feel like the two of them are definitely linked along with LT. Do you want to close out on something, Andy?
Super Bowl odds or anything? Because I guess they changed recently.
They don't change nearly as much as they do in August, but there's still some movement. Some football odds for the Super Bowl.
Got to be Chiefs and
okay, here we go. It is the favorite right now is Chiefs plus 600, so just 6-1. Then the Eagles, how about that? Look at them at 7-1. Bengals and Niners at 9-1. Bills at 8-1. Oh, why do they have that out of? Okay, so something's up there. There was some movement in that regard. So the Bills have moved up, I think, a little bit.
Okay.
They were plus 800, and then Cowboys 16, and then it's a lot of double digit stuff after that. So thinking of Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl, at least that's kind of the matchup Vegas is favoring. In terms of conference winners, AFC, Chiefs, Bills, Bengals. And then the NFC looks like Niners, Cowboys, and Eagles. The crazy one though, maybe this is interesting, you guys. To win the NFC conference in fourth place right now, in the odds according to MGM, the Lions at plus 850. That is definitely better than the Packers, obviously. That's better than the Seahawks. The Giants, way better than the Giants. Man, the Giants are 28-1 to win the NFC. But plus 850, that's kind of interesting.
They have definitely made a lot of improvements, and it seems like they've gotten better each year, and they kind of really took almost the next step last year, like a big step. But I still feel like it remains to be seen what happens. You never know what you're going to get with Goff.
Yeah. They get an extra game. I feel like that would just be a 9 if they didn't have the extra game.
Their division is weaker, obviously, now. I keep thinking of the Vikings as a big competitor, but losing Dalvin Cook, in my opinion, was a big loss.
I agree. They were not the same team without him last year.
We'll see how Madison carries the load. Yeah.
That's a lot of work for Kirk Cousins to have to do, and Jefferson. You know,
exactly.
They're just going to double that guy all the time, and Cousins is just Cousins.
Yeah.
I do have a crazy stat that I heard just yesterday about Kirk Cousins. He's the only quarterback to throw for 25 or more touchdowns in 8 straight seasons.
Maybe some injury reasons for a lot of those guys.
He definitely is very consistent.
Yeah.
His numbers, and I think that's why a lot of people don't get excited about him. Yeah. But he just never seems to step up in big moments to me.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's like the numbers and then watching it doesn't add up.
Yeah, exactly. I just never feel like that guy's I would want that guy with the game on the line in the Super Bowl. Just don't think that he could get it done. He's shown me so many times in primetime games that he can't.
I had to look to see that stat. So you're saying it's like 8 straight seasons of 25 or more?
Yeah. Is that incorrect?
I was like, well, what about Rivers? He had to have done 25 or more in at least 8 straight. And his longest streak was 7 years.
Wow.
It was bookended by a 22 and a 18. So that's pretty impressive.
Those are the years that he probably threw a lot of picks too, because they're usually desperate games and he's trying to throw stuff up at the last moment to get anything going.
2017.
Yeah.
First year in LA, and 2007. Anyway, I had to pull that up because that was interesting.
Absolutely.
Anything else you guys wanted to add?
Not much right now. I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks coming off the calendar, because it seems like the last few weeks just go flying by because preseason's up and everything too. So we're only a couple short weeks out of that.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of great content coming for our Schlab draft in Arizona this year. We got quite a few participants coming out, so that'll be fun. We'll try to record as much stuff as we can.
Hell yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And then training camp is right around the corner, so I'm sure there's going to be plenty of information, a lot of injuries, a lot of news and notes, positional battles, rookies making impact, all those kind of things. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure everybody just comment, subscribe to the Schlabcast. And as always, Shaba.
Shaba.